What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Right now we're in Koh Samui Thailand. This is the home where I have lived for the last 6 months, and I'm leaving for Europe for the first time in 1.5 years. Again this weekend, and I haven't even showed you around the island. So it's time we picked up the camera and show you what this beautiful, gorgeous place is all about. It's Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock, and today's mission is to show you around the island and hit the gym session before my coaching calls, my work starts today at 7 p.m. That's one of the pros of living out here. There's 5-hour time difference compared to Europe in summertime. So instead of working from waking up until the evening, then have some time off, you kind of flip it the other way around. So you start off the day with some spare time, get outside, get active instead of staying on the couch. And you hit the gym first. And then once kind of like 12, 1, 2 p.m. ish, that's when you start getting to work until late in the evening, which does have its cons as well. The pros are you're out and about during daytime and the weather is absolutely amazing, but the cons are that because of that it's sometimes harder to wind down at night and fall asleep on time, which then affects your productivity, maybe mood, energy, but definitely your sleeping schedule. So quality goes down. Not so ideal for the gains. So this is what 2.5k rent per month gets you in Koh Samui. Very different compared to Europe, especially now as well, considering that this is like the dry, the high season. Not sure if you can see much of the garden. We even have a Buddhist praying ceremonial place to honor the gods. Little nice outside barbecue area. We've only used it 2 times and one of them was during Christmas. Should have used that a lot more. But yeah, this is the crib. And now it's time to get breakfast in. We're having breakfast from the pool, which is either very, very weird or a very, very good life. There is no in between, I guess. And today we're having these. I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but we're having these little burritos over here. High protein with a strawberry protein fruit shake. And then, like, honestly, Thailand is like a bodybuilding paradise place. I used to prep my food all the time at home, but eventually you have these night markets here and there are so many of them and they have such a great variety of food and it's so affordable that it's like, yeah, you're just not gonna stay meal prepping because it just takes a lot of time and effort, and it's just so convenient and easy to just hit up one of these night markets and get your food in that way. Now once you're really cutting, deep cut state, then I will prep at home because it's just very hard to get the amount of satiety, so fruits and vegetables in, I would say like at least 40 to 50% per meal, still hitting 200 grams of protein in, which is my intake right now, and staying and not exceeding your calorie requirement. That's very hard eating out. So yeah, even if that is the case, you can supplement with shakes like this, which you have basically in every 7-Eleven, on every street corner. You have it nowadays in Europe everywhere as well, but it's just so easy to just not prep and plan your food and still hit your macros perfectly fine with a great variety, which is one of the reasons why I will always like to come back to this place. Not only the weather, it's like just beginning of April right now, and it's just insane weather. The whole winter time here is very, very good. So if you want to get a winter getaway to a place that's always super hot, even at night, it's like 37 degrees right now, then Thailand is a very good place, especially if you're into the fit life. So let's have this meal, show you a bit around Koh Samui before we hit the gym. Now this meal, high protein, low fat, which is what I always want to have: high protein, high carbs and low fat as a pre-workout meal. Now, the more you're cutting, the more you want your nutrition to be timed like around your workout. So kind of sandwich it in between the pre and post workout meal, because you need that energy, especially if you're training more in the evening. Then what you could do is like apply intermittent fasting a little bit, because if you're not eating well pre-workout when you're cutting, it's summertime, so assume you want to get more lean, and you're not fueling or timing your nutrition well pre and post workout, then you're not going to have the energy to perform. And if you're not going to have the energy to perform, then you're going to lose muscle, which is the last thing we want. So meal timing becomes very, very important when you're cutting. So high carbs, around 1 to 2 grams of carbs to like 90 minutes pre-workout. Right now it's more on the higher end for me because I'm still bulking, but once you get deeper into the cut, then it's more gonna be around 1 gram per kg of body weight. So now let's get this in, show you around quickly once the food is digesting, then smash the gym with hopefully a very nice meal timing. Mango dipping sauce. Delicious. Mango dipping sauce, like fruits in this place. It's crazy. It tastes so good and it's very affordable as well because all the fruits, or all these tropical fruits, are obviously imported all across the world from places like this. So you just get them super fresh because they're organically grown here. So you can just have such a great variety, such healthy, good food. Really makes it bodybuilding paradise, or just fitness, active, healthy life paradise. Best time of the year to be here, I would say, is around half of January in Koh Samui until like end of May, maybe even end of summer. I haven't even stayed that long, but right now, for example, Phuket, which is another very popular place in Thailand, the dry season kind of starts 1.5 to 2 months earlier. That's beginning of November, where here at that time it's still raining crazy. I got here in November, man, it was just like turning on a shower outside and walking through it. Not very ideal, very different vibe. At some point you're just a little bit like, what am I doing here? But when the weather is great, it's just the best place in the world to be, man. It really is. So if you're planning to visit Koh Samui Thailand, which I highly recommend, just check it out at least once, then come in between, I would say February, to be sure that the weather is good, until like end of April. That will be like the perfect time. Because right now it's April, the weather is still incredible right here, but in Phuket it's already getting like a bit clouded. Very, very humid, which it is here as well. It's like 37 degrees, super humid. Perfect time of the year to be here, between end of January, beginning February, until basically May, so the whole of April. You'll probably get over in the summer as well, but you might have a bit less good weather, more clouds, more rain, a bit of a mix of everything. The biggest like rainfall is in between, I would say it starts like end of October, so November, December, and half of January. Like those 2.5 months are raining like crazy, and sometimes a bit September, October as well. That's like the prime rain season times right here. So just make sure you're here at like springtime, around those months like February, March, April-ish. This epic piece of machinery has been carrying my fat glutes around for the last 6 months. This is what it's all about in Thailand. It's bike life, 300cc, super comfortable thing. I've driven on some more like heavier real motorcycles of 750cc, but I would prefer this one the majority of the time because it just drives so freaking comfortable. Now it's gonna be a bit hard going back to Europe and getting used to the 50cc bikes again, because I don't have a motorcycle driver's license, but here it doesn't matter, you just wear no shirt, no helmet. The only thing you really have to be serious about is not having overstay on your visa. That's about the only thing you need to think about. So I'm living up on that hill that we just drove down on. It's very important to have a bike in Thailand because it's super hot everywhere and it's not made for walking. It's not like in Europe, you need a motorbike. Everyone's driving on them. There's stray dogs everywhere and it's super hot. So you don't want to be either attacked by those stray dogs, or you don't want to walk up all the way uphill because it's just 37 degrees, it's super humid. I wouldn't want to change it for the world. It's still, don't get me wrong, way better than cold ass temperatures and raining all the time in the Netherlands and the UK. You need a bike. You need a scooter, as the Thai people like to say. Motorbike. Even if you're not walking, you just go outside, and because it's 37 degrees, super hot, super humid, it feels like 40 plus, and it almost feels like someone with a hair dryer is just blowing onto you with a crazy hot temperature. Even when you're driving, it doesn't cool down. The sea is super hot. sea is probably like 35 plus degrees. It's always a big change and very much of getting used to. When I go back to Europe and the Mediterranean, like even in August in Spain, it just feels super cold compared to how warm this water is right here. And yeah, I took you up to this spot because I feel like this place just gives you a pretty good idea of what Koh Samui is like in just one simple image. This kind of catches the vibe pretty well. And there in the back you see another island, and that island is called Koh Phangan, which is famously known for the infamous full moon party. And that's what most people just know it for. It's just one gigantic beach where anything and everything is being done at the same time. Just one gigantic beach party. But the island is actually so much more than that, that people don't know it for. This island, Koh Samui, it just kind of feels like one big resort place. But Koh Phangan in the back over there is just very untouched nature. Like here's all villas, resorts, a bit more families and stuff. Over there it's just hippies and a bunch of fit people, almost no one there. The most beautiful roads, empty roads you can drive on, full out speeding with your bike, and just crazy environment of just straight palm trees. It's just very untouched, very beautiful. One of the cool things about Koh Samui is this quite diverse selection of people who come to visit. Usually when you go on holiday to places like Spain or Portugal, it's full of English people, some Dutch, some German, some Swedish, but it's a very little select people who are from Europe. But here there are people from all over the world. People don't only come to party. Most people have found a way to escape the 9-to-5 life, are doing their own thing, or have found online income, which is quite hard. People live here away from all the Western ways and the indoctrination and all the politics, etc. Kind of doing their own thing instead of drinking, partying and being on holiday as well. Other than the most beautiful nature, Koh Samui is so gorgeous, it's crazy, there's not much else to do, but at the same time, if you do want to party, oh, you can. One of the things I like most about Thailand is just the no rules part of it. You just need to make sure you're not overstaying on your visa, and that's about it. And at Central Samui at the shopping center, sometimes the police pull people over that aren't wearing helmets, and that's about it. There's a wide variety of perfect beaches all across Samui, beach clubs in various sizes to chill during the day. I don't really have a favorite, there are so many great ones in their own way, and there's not so many people. It can get a bit busy in the high season, but it's nothing compared to the packed beaches in southern Europe in summer with families and fat people, the whole beach just smelling like sunscreen. When it comes to eating out in Samui, you are spoiled for choice, particularly in the areas called Chaweng and Lamai, from various nice restaurants to night markets, and even serving salmon poke bowls for about €3. Every beach in Koh Samui beats probably 99% of all the beaches in Europe and isn't even close to as crowded. The water is probably around 35 degrees as well, if not more. It's hard to cool down in it, and the nature is just insane. Southern Europe, Spain and Italy, etc. It's a nice mix of city and village and nature. You really go for both of those. But here there's just insane nature. Everything else is just unorganized and a bit on the dirty side. You really visit for the nature, and the street food and Thai food is very, very good. And as I said previously, it's very much of a resort villa island. It kind of feels like a bit resort, to be honest, but it's all about the nature. That's about it in Samui. You have the typical bar and party streets, a few nice beach clubs here and there, the ladyboys, the strip clubs, and a bunch of degenerate stuff, but it's really just all about the calm, relaxing, beautiful environment for me. After Bali for 4 months, this was just what I needed, a more quiet place to focus on work and training and just nicely stay in routine, in an environment that is completely the opposite of stress. Outside of Samui and Koh Phangan, you can take a boat trip to the Marina Park and to Koh Tao Island, which you can travel to within a few hours by ferry. The Marine Park is filled with gorgeous nature as well, very well for snorkeling, but arguably even Koh Tao is even better for snorkeling, as you can also get your diving license for the cheapest price in the world for about €300, whereas in Europe it would probably be more than 2,000. This is the current situation. Nice peace and quiet. I thought as I was showing you around, why not take a little dip in the water? One of my favorite places, because this is quite a quiet beach. Now there's still a fair bit of people, but it's only accessible actually if you're living or staying in one of the resorts over there, or if just there's a road right there, just park it next to it, hop over the fence, then you can also get to this beautiful place. Nice peace and quiet time, reflect upon life. I've had plenty of ocean in my life in the last 3 years, and I believe everyone should. It's good for the soul, good for the spirit. That's why we're here, summer, year round. About 5 years ago I put together a plan to find location independence, because before you know it, time goes fast. Before you know it, you're 30 years old, and there's a lot I want to do, there's a lot that I want to see. So before my time is up, I want to travel the world. But obviously, having the freedom to travel, well, that's not easy. And finding location independence for most people is not really a possibility, but it can be done because I've been able to put it off. 5 years ago, none of this was possible for me. I was stuck in uni, I was training people, that was my main source of income. If I went and traveled, then my money stopped coming in, so eventually you had to go home. And that really bothered me, so I said to myself, you need to find a plan to earn money online so you can start to travel. Well, but it's not really traveling, it's more like working remotely, because I'm at a place for 6 months, at least 2 months. I noticed if I switch more frequently than 2 months, it just messes up routine too much, because yeah, it's not really traveling, it's working remotely. You're still doing the same thing that you always do at home, you just do it from a different location. Simply going online, man, I'll tell you, the payoff is great, and not necessarily financially, but just because you get your freedom back, and that adds a lot of value, a lot of quality of life to your life. Now, I don't really care so much about money, because you know, you can make a shit ton of money, but if you can't have any time off of work and you can't spend that money, then what use is it really? I don't want to retire at 60 years old and have lost all my youth. I want to be able to do what I want to do right now. So for me, that freedom is so much more important than having shitloads of money. And of course, money is good. You need money to travel, you need money to see the world, you need money to be able to stay in nice places. But what good is that money if you're 60 years old, you're retired, and you've lost your youth? That's just not for me. I want to be able to do it right now. I came to that realization about 5 years ago on a sunny summer day in my mom's backyard, reading the 4-hour work week. And I don't need a shit ton of money to live my dream life. All I need is to have location independence and some spare time. Oof, it's getting a little bit deep now, isn't it? Just sharing some thoughts on a Wednesday afternoon in this boiling hot body of water somewhere in the Gulf of Thailand, in paradise. Just gonna chill here for a little bit longer, soaking it all in, because it's probably the last time that I'll be in this body of water for a fair bit of time, because I'm heading to Spain for 5 months this weekend. Set it up as a new home base and the first time being in Europe in 1.5 years. So I need to have this moment of gratitude and appreciation for what this beautiful paradise has brought me in the last majority of the time, of the last few years. Well, Thailand, it's been a pleasure. You've served me very well as my home over the course of the last 6 months, and actually half of the time in the last 2.5 years. But it's time to head back to Europe. It's going to be very hard to skip on Thailand from now forward, because it does actually feel like a bit of a third home to me. The people are so kind, the country is so amazing, the weather is so good. So I feel like my soul, every time it will be February, March, April-ish, will want to drag me out here once again. I will definitely be back, but now it's time to head back to Europe, back to the fitness video. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.